Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Eternal Takes with Anna. Obviously, my name is Anna, and today I'm going to talk to you all about how to succeed in college, how to do well, some tips and tricks that I used, and just general advice that I feel like really applies to UCR students. So if you're not a UCR student, you can still watch this video and you can take general tips, but like if I say a specific name of like a dorm or like a website that UCR uses, just switch that out for whatever your school uses. But yeah, this is more so specific to my experience at UC Riverside, but again, it's up to everyone, so feel free to keep on watching. And please like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let me know what you think about this video, or if you have any clarifying questions you want to ask about any of the tips that I give. So let's go ahead and get started. For the first kind of segment I want to get into, it is about study habits and how your study habits can basically contribute to your college experience. Because honestly, I feel like I have had friends who have been on academic probation, or they've had like they failed a class and it's been on their mind for a really long time. And especially if you're a pre-med student, pre-law student, or just like you're wanting to go to grad school, get like your master's or PhD, like whatever degree you want to get after undergraduate, like if you fail a class, it is never going to leave your mind. You're gonna thinking about how do I repeat this class? Like, how do I get rid of it from my transcript, right? So the first step is not even like, okay, now that I failed a class, what do I do? It's like, how do we prevent you from failing a class? And obviously, I need to study, yay. Okay, so let's go over what study habits have worked for me that might work for you, but just generally have been like researched to be helpful, in my opinion, with college classes. Like, I feel like in high school you could genuinely just cram overnight and still pass. Maybe not with AP classes, obviously, but I feel like in general you could still cram every night and you would be fine in high school. But in college, look, I hate to say it, but our teachers telling us that stuff is not gonna fly in college, low-key, they were on. They're right. They're onto something, because it gets harder to cram, especially if you're at UCR and you're on a quarter system, because classes are so fast paced that if you don't pace yourself and you don't designate time every week to do your readings, to study, go to office hours, and build that relationship with your professor, you're not gonna get much out of the class, okay? So and this really matters, in my opinion, if you're at UCR and you're taking lower div classes. Let's say you're a freshman, those lower division classes, they're gonna matter. Like your upper divs, they're gonna be based on the theories and the class materials that are in your lower division classes. So if you're not paying attention and you're kind of like goofing off and you're missing class, like, nah, like it's gonna affect you in your future classes as well, and also build bad habits. So I guess the first tip I have is just like, don't skip class. Like, I know it's tempting and I know it can get hard once you like build a habit of doing it. Thankfully, I never fell for the propaganda of skipping class. So, and I see why, because my friends who did skip class, then they would be looking for the notes. And especially if it's a hard professor, like if you go on Rate My Professor and it says like, yeah, this professor requires you to be in class, like now you're losing attendance points. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say definitely go to class, go to lecture, don't play. And also like build good study habits. So on top of going to class, you're not only just sitting there passively and like listening, you're actively engaging with the professor. Now you don't need to be like, you know, doing too much where you're like answering every question or asking hypothetical questions when it's like 2 minutes before class you know, gets out. But you can still be engaged. Like you can take notes, you can ask questions here and there if you need clarification. You can even try answering some of the professor's questions. Like genuinely, I think the saddest things is like when you're in class and your professor asks a question and nobody knows the answer because nobody did the reading or nobody was listening to what he said like 2 minutes before. It's genuinely so sad. I'm like, and they look shocked by it too, because back in their time this stuff wouldn't fly either, but now it flies. So but like, don't do it, genuinely. Like, just try in class. Like, it's not dumb. You don't look embarrassing. Like, genuinely just try in class, because you also get a good letter of rec out of it. Like, there's always going to be a benefit to you caring about school at the end of the day. Now we're going to get into the study habits. So things that you should be doing to study your class materials, your readings, and especially your readings. Like, going to lecture is never going to be enough. Like, you actually need to do the readings too. And if you're a slow reader like me, like, it will take you a minute to do every single reading for every class every week, but that's why you should budget time. And maybe I'll make a separate video about organization and how to stay organized, not just in school but in your life too. But yeah, so I'll do that later. But just to get into the different study habits that have worked for me, I would say I really like active recall methods. So that includes flashcards. I really like Quizlet, best app ever. And also blurting technique is really underrated, but I did it for a really hard anthropology class I was taking. And this was the type of class where you literally had to remember every single species name, how they were related. I'm like, am I in bio? Am I in like CNAS, or am I anthropology? Like, what is this? But anyway, so I had to do it just to, you know, pass the class. So anyway, and blurting really helped with that class. And basically what blurting is you're gonna go through all your notes after class, like just read through all of them, try to understand it, like basically kind of memorize it a little bit. And right after that, right after you read through all the notes that you want to try to recall later, put it all aside, don't cheat, don't look through them, like completely hide it from yourself, and then kind of simulate a test-like environment and just sit down with like a paper in front of you and literally just write down everything that you can recall from the notes that you took. Now, obviously you don't want to like organize it like how you did with your notes, like try to find your own flow and create like an organizational chart, kind of like a brain dump, I would say. But you're basically trying to recall as much as you can based off of that first few minutes, like just reading the notes. And then after that, you're gonna go grab your notes and you're going to cross-reference and see, okay, what did I get correct and what did I miss? What did I get wrong? And like add the wrong stuff / the stuff you missed in red pen or like red pencil, just so you can kind of see where you're missing the point, and then go and review those points over and over until you blur and then you got it, you know? So that's really helpful. And also Pomodoro technique is really good too, especially if you're doing readings. I sometimes find myself, if I'm doing a reading for a class I really enjoy, like sociology classes and specific political science classes especially, I sometimes get lost in the sauce, and then there's like so many pages I need to read and I have so little time, and I'm trying to like for a week of readings, like maybe 50 pages I would have to read for like one class, and I was just like, oh my god, like it's Sunday, I'm getting the Sunday scaries. And I would just be sitting there for hours reading this book, and like I'm losing my mind, and like I'm not retaining information after a while. And it's like, you don't need to study for 3 hours straight in order to be a good student. Like, take breaks, because it's literally research that if you take breaks mid-studying for like a specific amount of time, it helps you with your discipline, it helps you not burn out, it helps you keep your motivation and be able to study for longer too. Because if I study for 3 hours straight, you better believe I am also taking a 3-hour procrastination break. So like Pomodoro really helps, because what you do, I like using the YouTube timers for this, and there's like specific themes you can look up. So I really like watching the Snoopy fall theme, jazz, lo-fi, hip-hop, Pomodoro timer. And you can choose the timer. You can choose if you want to do like 30 minutes studying, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes studying, 5-minute break, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 45, 10, like whatever combination works best for you. Just experiment with it, see which combo works best for you. For me, I really like the 30 minutes studying, 5 minutes break, and then it just goes on a loop until you're like done studying. So yeah, that's how you Don't burn yourself out. And then continuing with the active recall though, the last technique that I really like is teaching it to others. So literally grab a friend or just like talk to the wall. Genuinely, if you don't want to bore your friends to death, or you can talk to your plushies, like, or your family members, like whoever you have, your dog even, genuinely, like just pretend that somebody is there and they're a student in this class and you're trying to relay this information to them as if you are the professor and you're supposed to be an expert in this. Now, this doesn't mean like make up gibberish and you're doing improv. No, like genuinely you need to be so confident in the material that you can stand up and explain it to somebody else and make it make sense to them. And this is a great test because if you see yourself like struggling, you're forgetting words, like you're kind of like not relating concepts, that tells you where you're missing the point. So I consider that to be really effective. Next segment. In terms of organization, I really recommend building an academic tracker. Now I'm gonna pull up on my laptop like my academic tracker and what I used, but this was really helpful for me, and I actually watched somebody else on YouTube make theirs. Go on YouTube and you look up like academic tracker. I think there's like a bunch of videos, but this is mine. I kind of tweaked it to be my style and like how I like it to look. So we're on the quarter system, so I kind of just did like different quarters. So I did winter quarter assignments, spring quarter assignments. I didn't do it for fall, and that's why I got into it in winter, because I was just like, I'm not tracking my assignments the way I want to be. And I'm a very type A personality, so this like really works for me. But yeah, so do as you please. But I really like this for my organization because I can get to see the assignments. I put them in from the syllabus at the very beginning of like the quarter. I decide like what courses it belongs to, the status, if it's done, if it's in progress, not done, the due date. I like to lie to myself for this part. So let's say even though the due date was like March 28th, I'm going to, no, actually it was probably March like 30th. I put it on here as March 28th. I put it 2 days before the actual due date so that I could trick myself into thinking it's due earlier, and I would get it done earlier so that I would have those 2 days to like, if, in case there was an emergency or like I took like a day off and didn't have time to work on it, or you know, just like I just needed those 2 days to like draft and revise one more time. Like this really helps. So yeah, and then you can use some of the formulas in Excel to calculate how many days are left since from today until the due date. So this is the formulas, what the cell is minus today and then parentheses. And then I also put like priority level here, the type of assignment, is it homework, is it just like group projects, test, quiz, whatever. The estimated time, I never really filled this out. As you can see, I didn't really care to, but if you want, you can put how much time you need for this to work on it, like every day or in total. I also did specific tabs for like studying and like my attendance. So this is just to track my attendance. Like if I miss class, why did I miss class? Like this was my way of holding myself accountable. So these 2 days I was sick, so I literally couldn't go to class. And then this one day I missed 2 classes because of this like huge event that I had at school that I had to attend to. But yeah, and I didn't fill this out, but also like you can track your studying. I find this helpful because I can look back at it and be like, wait, like I'm low-key slacking on studying for this class. Like let me budget time for it for another day. And then yeah, so I did like the course, the date, time, what did I do, any notes, and then how many hours total I studied. So yeah, I find this to be really helpful. If it works for you, great. If not, you know, do your own thing. In terms of also just being organized, I would say deadlines are really important, of course, and this was my way of tracking my deadlines to make sure I didn't lose any points or miss any assignments. And also was on top of like my attendance for classes too. I would say it really helps to sync your Canvas, which is what most universities and colleges use to track assignments. Sync that to your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar If you go on YouTube again and like look up a tutorial for it, you can find one really quick. It literally took me less than a minute to do it. You just go through the settings feature on Canvas and you can do it. And that's also a lifesaver. Like it genuinely just tells you like, okay, like on your calendar, like this assignment is due. And it's like, oh, okay, well now I see it on my calendar, so I know it has to get done. Now we're going to segue into a little bit more student life. I want to talk about dorming. So dorming is a trip. Like don't play about who you dorm with. That's all I have to say. Because I'm sure y'all have seen like horror stories from people who have had horrible roommates or just like roommates that they clashed with. I also had similar experiences. Now granted, I had 2 roommates in college in my first year when I absolutely had to dorm with somebody. And I really got along with one of them, but then she ended up leaving. And then I was with this other roommate who was my original roommate. And it was nothing about them. It was nothing about their personality or them being a horrible person. Like they were genuinely a great person, very ambitious. It was just our personalities just did not work. We just clashed and we butted heads a lot. And ultimately it led to our like RA getting involved. All I have to say is hop on a call with whoever's gonna be your roommate, whether it's assigned, whether you pick them. Make sure you hop on a FaceTime, a call or something like a bunch of times and talk to this person, really get to know them and their quirks. Like I don't think one call is enough or even like no call. I will also say whatever you do not pick multiple roommates. Like if you can afford getting a double room rather than a triple or a quadruple room, I would say like please do it, because your mental health will thank you. Your physical space, the amount of space you have for your items, like that will be even better. So like genuinely at UC Riverside, like I was in Pentland Hills my first year, and that was one of like the better, in my opinion, it was a little bit better because I was like, well, you're kind of in a suite, you're not in like a long hall with a bunch of people that you don't know. But like it's really not all that. It's still old and musty. And also the vents in Pentland, I'm pretty sure they have mold. I'm not sure if it's gotten cleaned since my first year and my second year, but I remember I would be on the top bunk and I would be sleeping at night and I would get these horrible cough fits, like just horrible coughs. And I was like, I literally can't breathe anymore. And like nobody's here to help me. And then I would just go back to sleep. But it was like reoccurring every night and like I just couldn't sleep. But yeah, it was because of the mold and the dust in the vents. So that's why I'm saying like be careful with the dorm that you pick. Like if you can do Dundee or one of the newer halls, like definitely do that. I also like AI and Lothian. Like I think they're pretty cool too. Pentland, I don't know what's wrong with Pentland. It's just not, I don't know. I didn't like it. I would rather do AI or Lothian at least, if not Dundee. And also get a double. Like genuinely, like I was saying, get a double. Do not get a triple, do not get a quadruple. Like if you have the financial luxury to get a double, please, like I'm begging you, just pick a double. Even if like it's more expensive, I'm telling you, like it's worth it. If you can afford it, just do it. Don't even think twice about it. Those rooms go the quickest because they're in the highest demand, because people need their own space and their own peace of mind. When you're in a triple, like genuinely, like I have no space to breathe. And that's why I was getting into conflict with my roommates too, because like we were just all up on each other's space. Like of course you're irritated all the time, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, and then I would also say, if you watch any of those videos that are like, here's every Amazon product that you need to dorm your first year, and it's just a bunch of stupid Amazon orders, like don't waste your money on those. I promise you, half that stuff you don't need. The only real stuff that you will need, and I'm telling you this right now, especially for UCR, specifically also if you're gonna be living in Pentland, you will need shower caddies. So get like a little like shower plastic like container that has like handles, and just use that for all your shower products to hold them in, because you don't want to be taking your shower shower bottle, like your shampoo, conditioner, body wash, like in your hand every single time, back and forth from your room to the shower every single time you want to shower. Like that's too much. So it's nicer to have something you can carry. And also get one for your skincare. If you have a lot of skincare products, I needed to do that as well. And also get a good pair of like shower shoes, preferably ones that have a little bit of like height to them, just because like sometimes the shower can get clogged and then the water just rises as you have it kind of running, and you don't want your feet to just be touching the water. Like just like get something that has height that can give you a little bit of leverage. And then also you want to make sure you're not barefoot in the showers, because you never know who has what disease and who's walking around these showers. Like genuinely, I have heard about so many cases like ringworms, foot fungus, like athlete's foot, like just wear your shower shoes. Just don't question me on this. And then also I would say any container that you can fit within your drawers, just containers in general, just get as much containers as you can. I would say it just really helps with organization. And like you will see that I'm really big on organization, but basically when you're at orientation, I did this. We were already in Pentland and I knew I was going to be housed in Pentland. So I brought a little measuring tape and I used it to basically measure all the dimensions of the drawers and like the closet and everything. So I knew exactly how much clothes and how much materials to bring to put in my drawers. I would say if you can be frugal with how much you bring, like bring all your clothes, but be frugal with like how many books or how many decorations or how much, I guess, like extra unnecessary things you will bring. So that's my advice on that. And also in terms of dorming, I would highly recommend that you be in regular contact with your RA, who's like the resident advisor of your hall. You'll be introduced to them in the beginning when you move in, but just be in regular contact with them. You never know when you'll need something from them. And they're literally trained to be a resource for you, to guide you through your UCR journey. So why not use that? Like you're literally paying for them. Not like directly, but you know, your tuition goes towards paying them. In terms of leadership skills, this is my next segment. I would say it's really important that you get involved in clubs, because it also helps you understand what your interests are, what kind of people you want to be around, and also what your future career can look like. Like for example, for me, I knew that I was interested in law, but I wasn't like 1,000% sure, like 100% sure. I was just like 99% sure I wanted to get into law, but like that was that 1% of doubt. So I think joining some pre-law clubs on campus really helped me. Like for example, I did mock trial, like that really solidified that understanding for me that this is what I'm passionate about. So, you know, kind of like explore, like see what kind of clubs are on campus and join them. Even if you're in there just for a little bit, you know, it still helps you. And that's how you can find your friend groups too. Like generally those clubs are how you find your friends. I would also say it's a really good experience and a good thing to put on your resume too if you start a club. So for UCR specifically, if you go on Highlander link, make sure you look up exactly what kind of club you're looking for. And I would say if you're pre-med and you're watching this video and you want to start a club so that it looks nice on your resume, stop. We have way too many UCR pre-med, like CNAS, like science clubs. Like if you have something very unique, that's awesome. But genuinely every unique idea for the pre-med culture at UCR, it has been taken, it has been done. Like there's just too many pre-med clubs. But if you're pre-law, like there's not too many clubs, I would say, or too many societies or like fraternities, whatever. So if you want to start something new, like you can. So I kind of did that. So I did a bit of research. So obviously go on Highlander link and like look up exactly what you're looking for. I was looking for pre-law clubs and the only options that showed up, they had some like diverse things going on. Like it was like women in the law, like that was a great club too. But I was like, that's not really what I'm looking for. Like, is there something specifically for LGBTQ plus students or something where like kind of like gay culture is like infused into the pre-law space because that was missing from the other spaces. And I saw that there was no such thing. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. And when I was 100% sure, me and my friends literally started the Legally Queer Club on campus. So if you're interested, you should go join. I graduated since then, so I won't be there, but you should go support the club. And yeah, you can use that same strategy. Like find a space within UCR that's like missing, that you genuinely searched everywhere and no such club or organization exists, and make it come to reality, you know? Use the friend group that you find in these clubs, in these social circles to your advantage, because once you're past your first year and you're like entering your second year, third year, fourth year, and you want to get like a president position, VP, or like kind of like a leadership position in general in these clubs, it really helps to have friends who can vouch for you, especially friends who are like older, who have been in these leadership positions and who can kind of like have your back or like recommend you to the next kind of like e-board so they can elect you. So just like be cordial with everyone. Don't, you know, have anyone hating on you. Like obviously you can't control who likes you or who doesn't, but generally like don't start drama for no reason. Like mind your own business, just go to class, go to club. Don't start unnecessary drama, and just be cordial with everyone. Like it's really not worth it to start drama for no reason, because it will ultimately affect what positions you're able to get. Even if you're the most qualified person, like sometimes people will get in the spot that you want because they know somebody. And that's how life works. That's also how it works in your future careers as well. It's all about who you know, not just your qualifications. So your qualifications, they do matter. That's why you should go after these experiences, but also you should build your network. And speaking of networking, qualifications, resumes, my next segment is on jobs and resumes. So I highly recommend to UCR students, like, please get an on-campus job rather than an off-campus job. The downside to an off-campus job is that you have to commute, and sometimes the managers, they don't care that you're a student, so they'll still book you when you literally tell them that I have class during this time. They'll still book you and they'll expect you to show up, and they'll give you job action if you don't. And it's just like really hard. Like every student I know who has had an off-campus job is like suffering. But if you do an on-campus job, they're literally staff at UCR. They know that you're a student, and they make your schedule based on your classes, based on like your other commitments. So that's really good. It's a really good advantage. And it's also like better hours, and it might be still like minimum wage pay, but it's better than nothing, genuinely. Use the Harvard style for your resume. So don't add any pictures, no colors, no random formats. I don't like the Google Doc kind of template for resumes. Like it's horrible, and I used to use that in high school. That will not fly in college. Use the Harvard template. That is genuinely the sleekest, the beautiful, the most beautiful. I just can't get over how neat it looks. And like generally everyone I've met who has looked at my resume is like, what did you do? Like I'm telling you, it's just the Harvard template. It's a life changer. And we are back. I am reporting live, nighttime, same day as before. Yeah, we're back. So apologies for the setting change, but now you get to see me at night. You get to see what the lighting looks like in my room. But continuing on with what I was saying. So I really recommend the Harvard template for your resume. And also what I've learned too in my experience working at UCR and kind of like building up my resume and like my leadership skills, my honestly just like job experience here too with on-campus jobs, is the most important lesson to take away is that I think like applying for on-campus jobs is interesting because you get feedback. You can literally get feedback from the position that you apply to, because they're UCR staff. So they're very much focused on student life. They're focused on your development as a student. And so the staff that you are reaching out to for like your jobs and things, they're like more than happy to provide you with feedback, not in like a degrading way, but in like a constructive way. So they'll let you know if you don't get selected for like a job that you really want. Let's say you apply to the academic resource center and you don't get a job as a tutor, and you're like, well, what did I do that, you know, you would like to see like improved, like as a recruiter? Like, they will be more than happy to give you that feedback, and they'll literally tell you stuff that can change your life. Like, genuinely, what I've seen in other people's resumes that and stuff that I saw in my own resume too, that is a huge turnoff to recruiters that I've learned, is like misspellings. If you have a misspelling in any part of your application, whether it be like just the application itself, like the little questionnaires you have misspellings in, or in your resume, especially in your resume, like it's just so obvious because it's such a like blank piece of paper. Like, I can notice, I can feel the sense of a misspelling. Like, my spidey senses will just go off that like Grammarly was not working for this resume today. Like, I will just sense it. I just know. And you better trust that recruiters also have that same feeling. So just letting y'all know, just make sure you download Grammarly. Like, Grammarly will be your best friend through college and also for getting a job. Like, just make sure you're just using it regularly. So yeah, make sure you have a template for your resume. Make sure you have a template for your cover letter, especially. I'm seeing more and more jobs require cover letters, honestly, more than ever before. Like, the job market is even more competitive, and now they're requiring more things from you. So just make sure you have a template ready to go for cover letters as well. And for UCR students specifically, honestly, whatever college you go to, just like go to your college career center, your career services center, whatever it's called on your campus. And for UCR, there's also the career center as well. And make an appointment if you'd like to talk to someone about your cover letter and kind of get it evaluated. There is specific staff, there's specific advisors, counselors that are assigned to you that are career counselors based on your major, your kind of field, and also your last name. So make sure you reach out to them, book an appointment in advance, because they're usually pretty booked up, like honestly weeks in advance. So make sure you get them early on before your application deadlines for whatever job you're applying to. Get that second opinion before you apply, just to make sure like things are good to go and to increase your chances, and also learn from them too. But if you're looking for a template and if you don't want to make an appointment, you just want to do things on your own, I would say their website is really helpful. They have like a resume template there. They have the Harvard style there as well. And they have the cover template, cover letter template on their website as well that you can download and customize for yourself. And that's the next point. So when you're applying to jobs, whether it's on campus, off campus, whether you graduated and you're looking to apply for big girl jobs now, you need to get in the habit of not being lazy with your job applications. And what I mean by that is not like people just don't want to work anymore, people are super lazy. Like, no, I mean like when it comes to applications, people just send the same resume, the same cover letter, like basic, vague, ambiguous, you know, general things to the same, like all the different employers. And that's not gonna help you, because a lot of the times these recruiters now use AI. And if they don't see descriptions in your resume and your cover letter that matches to the job description, like the exact wording, like similar sentences, like phrases and stuff, they're not gonna read. Like, a recruiter's not gonna actually sit down and read your application unless the AI detects some kind of similarity, compatibility. Like, so I would say definitely get used to using, I'm not pro AI, like I like to use my brain. So just like, I would say take the time to read through the job description, take the time to go through all the tasks that are required of you for each position, and take little keywords from there and put it in your resume in ways that actually make sense. For example, if I'm applying for a job that requires me to, I don't know, wash dishes, and let's say in my regular resume, I didn't put down my job experience of working at Whole Foods, where like or no, actually I worked at like a restaurant and I actually dealt with dishes there. And also I used to be a barista, so I would have to wash dishes there when we were closing. But you know, I don't have that on my resume regularly in the template, but because this job requires it, well, now I'm gonna edit my template for this specific job, tailor it to the job description, add this job experience specifically for this company, and add that word that like, okay, utilized my dishwashing skills. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just like a brief example. We can get more complex than this, but this is just like a baseline just to get you started.